Well, hi again, folks. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and welcome in to this week's edition of This Week in Pearl. We've got a huge show for you this week. We're going to have Mayor Jake Windham come in and talk about the great-looking crime stats that were released from 2021 from our Pearl Police Department, and a great grand reopening of the Kroger here in Pearl right off of Highway 80. That was some exciting stuff that took place this week. We'll then go under the dome over at the state capitol and talk to Senator Dean Kirby and Representative Gene Newman, our two distinguished gentlemen here from the City of Pearl, and they'll tell us everything that's happening over at the legislature. It's really heating up over there on both floors and in both houses. Then we'll tell you about a little celebrity that we have here. She's a third grader from Northside Elementary. Her name is Noli Jones, and she is a champion ambassador for Children's Hospital of Mississippi. We will tell you all about that. Hey, we have an opportunity for you to work for the City of Pearl at the Pearl Police Department. We'll tell you about some job openings and how you can stay connected with all the goings on here in the city. All that and more coming up on This Week in Pearl.
Hello, I'm Mayor Windham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Well, welcome back into This Week in Pearl, folks. We are now joined by our mayor, Jake Windham, and we have got some great news to talk about this week. As a former law enforcement police officer, I know this hits near and dear to your heart, also as the mayor now, but we just got some new crime stats for the city of Pearl, and we have hit the lowest numbers in more than 4 years, certainly of your time here as mayor in Pearl. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. And, one of the things that we try to pride ourselves on, the Pearl Police Department has had a reputation for a long time, dating back to 1973, of enforcing the law and doing a good job. Chief Scott and I looked at a couple of different things in the past couple of years to try to tweak as far as manpower is concerned. We have what you call a proactive flex unit. They're not assigned to shifts. They are assigned from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and they come in to be strictly proactive. Now they'll help out on a hot call, but they're to be on our corridors, and essentially what they look for is minor infractions. And I know probably citizens might say, well, they write a lot of tickets, and I get that, but from a bigger picture standpoint, there's a theory out there called the broken window theory. So it was put in place back in the 90s by Rudy Giuliani in New York. And I'm a fan of that particular theory. If you pay attention to small details, then you prevent major things from occurring. And I think that this news release that we did as far as our crime report reflects that. And so I'm very proud of the guys and gals at the Pearl Police Department. They work hard every day, and I just want to make sure that people know we're doing our job and they're doing their job.
Well, one of the numbers, if people, pay close attention to this, because this is really, we have low crime numbers here in Pearl already. We've always had low crime numbers. But really what we saw in 2021 was astounding. And we're going to put it up on the screen for you. In a city of more than 27,000 residents that we have nearly 11,000 homes and more than 1,000 businesses. We had no murders, 0, and 1 reported armed robbery. There were just 13 house burglaries, 8 business burglaries, and 13 auto thefts. That's for an entire year. Now, not to pick on our neighbors to the west, Mayor, but just 1 mile on the other side of our city line into the city of Jackson, They unfortunately saw 157 homicides, thousands of robberies, burglaries, all those kind of things. And the fact that we are able to keep that at bay right on our doorstep is truly a testament to our police department.
It is, and it's a culture. That's what you got to have. You got to have a culture in mind of strength through peace. I think Ronald Reagan said that. And I'm old school when it comes to enforcing the law. I think that we live in such a time, and I don't apologize for this, for everything is so therapeutic, and we can treat people and we can do some things. No, the law is the law, and you're supposed to enforce the law, and that is the clear difference. We take that very seriously, and if you are consistent in doing that repeatedly with consistent action, you're going to have success. And that's what the police department has done. They've been able to do that over a consistent period of time. Just for an example, you look at the crime stats here, the traffic citations. 2018, we wrote 8,522 citations. 2021, we wrote 17,941. Now that's not a money grab again. I want our citizens to understand that. That's not us trying to create revenue. That's not what we do. What we do is we try to identify people that are breaking the law. Sometimes just by the officer's intuition after pulling over, things become much bigger inside that vehicle, and we prevent crimes. We've pulled people over that had stolen guns. We actually, one night, and I'll tell you, we had Lieutenant Elam had a vehicle pulled over in a parking lot, found masks in the vehicle and guns in the vehicle, and prevented an armed robbery just by identifying that something just didn't sit right with him. So out there being vigilant, knowing those indicators of what criminal activity looks like, puts you over the top. And our guys and gals have honed their skills, and like I said, the numbers speak for themselves. And I don't want to ding up our neighboring city, Jackson, but I do want to make much of what our people have done.
Oh, absolutely. And when you talk about those traffic citations, not only do they find illegal guns, many times they'll find illegal drugs in the car. The people that are driving or in the car will have outstanding warrants. So again, that goes to crime prevention as well. And you're getting bad guys off the street before they can actually commit that crime, right? True,
very true. And dating back to the years, I was a patrol officer here at Pearl Police Department. Came here in 2003. Then I was promoted to detective in 2005. So I have firsthand knowledge of dealing with those cases. And I'll be quite honest with you that the case numbers in 2005 monthly were higher than what they are now. So I found myself a lot of times in the city of Jackson working ongoing cases and active cases. I would probably say 75%. Now with that proactive flex unit, I don't want to leave out the fact that through some other grant writing, we were able to receive a $100,000 grant for overtime. Well, our guys and gals go out there on this grant, and they again have themselves in a situation where they're conducting proactive law enforcement, which again prevents crime and lowers crime stats.
Well, and certainly from the law enforcement perspective, where we're stopping crimes, but we're also, the numbers bear this out, that with that vigilance of writing citations and simply being out there and being present, traffic accidents dropped significantly. We went from 2,500 traffic accidents in 2018 to 1,700 last year. I mean, that's a huge drop. DUI arrests have gone from 91 in 2018 to 444. So that's getting intoxicated drivers off the streets before they can even have an accident, which is absolutely huge and is saving lives.
Yeah, I would think that that's the goal there when you talk about, especially on the outside of the citations where you're looking for criminal activity, you're also preventing traffic accidents from occurring and you're saving people's lives. From the standpoint of DUI arrest, again, 91 in 2018, 444 in 2021. Only God knows how many people that our officers probably saved from something bad occurring. So that's something that people need to remember too when you're talking about these things. What we want to do is send a strong message that we're pro-law enforcement here. We want to make sure that people understand that we're going to do our job. We're not going to sugarcoat things. I think that we bear the brunt or the heavy burden as the city of Pearl to protect the rest of Rankin County. They have to come through Pearl and Flowood before they come in, and Pearl has more entrances into the city than Flowood does, by the way. And that's our point of view. And right or wrong or indifferent or you don't agree with me, I'm sorry, but if you have a lot of crime happening here, you got to have a strong position in between to make sure that you shut down and you form an invisible wall. And our invisible wall are the men and women of the Pearl Police Department.
And doing a phenomenal job. So again, kudos to them. We know that Pearl has always had low crime, but man, 2021 was really a banner year. Something else good we wanted to talk about with you today, and it was a long time coming, something that you've really pushed for your entire time in office thus far, and that was a nice way to put it, a remodel, an updating of our Pearl Kroger, which has sat for more than 50 years over there, served this community so well, and they just had a brand new reopening, a grand reopening, and boy, does that store look nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Of course, we just left that ribbon cutting, and it was one of those situations where, like I said, at the ribbon cutting, I've been going to that store for 43 years. I'm 43 years old. Said this also in ribbon cutting. I got a few spankings while I was in the Kroger. Incidentally, I remember hitting my mom in the ankle with a buggy on purpose from behind, and Kathy didn't take too kindly to that, so I was thrashed right there in the middle of the aisle. But getting back to the remodel, this is something that people have asked for 20 years. 20 years, people have come to me, why don't our Kroger serve this? Why don't our Kroger serve that? And I'm just like, it's a corporate issue. So when I came into office, I've met with some of the Kroger execs, have written letters, and basically telling them, look, our folks in Pearl, we want the same opportunities that everybody else has. There's other cities around us and that have a lower median household income than we do, but they were able to benefit from more amenities than what they had at our Kroger. And I don't want to ding Kroger up because I'm very thankful for it's a $2 million renovation.
Absolutely.
But that's a high producing store. When you sit on the back of King Heights with all those houses in that area, and then you have McLaurin Heights across the street, you have a lot of households that are centralized right there, so it's very easy for people to come and go. I mean, my family shops there currently. Kristen goes there a lot. And anyway, for the store to be revamped on the inside is tremendous. On the outside, they're in compliance with our new sign guidelines. It looks great, and it provides a sense of pride when you ride by and say, look, Kroger did this. We were able to work with them to do it. They put the money up, did this $2 million renovation, and as you were talking before, their meat area and seafood area has been enhanced, and that was one of the biggest things that, and the produce area, one of the biggest things that I discussed with Kroger Corporation was, look, our folks in Pearl, and this is my analogy, so people might be thinking differently of what I'm about to say, but there's a lot of men and women in Pearl, Mississippi that like to cook their own stuff. We're a bunch of hard-working, conservative people that don't go to Kessler Prime every Friday night because that's not how we live.
Right.
We would rather take that $150 that we go to Kessler Prime, and some of these men that I know can cook a steak better than Kessler Prime in Pearl, Mississippi.
No doubt.
Or the seafood. So they would like to go do it and have that benefit. I don't want them to go to Brandon. That's retail leakage. I don't want them to go into Richland. That's retail leakage. I don't want them to have to travel to the Reservoir Kroger. Right. I want the tax dollars to stay here. We should be able to we should be self-contained in Pearl, Mississippi and offer anything that any other city should or can within the state of Mississippi. We're the largest city in Rankin County. And I've told y'all in staff meetings, we're the largest city in Rankin County and we're going to act like it. But Kroger stepped up to bat. They did a tremendous job. Chuck Head and Willie Gray, the manager there, and some of their other executives, they were really great this morning. It was a very exciting feeling, and I really hope that our citizens benefit off this remodel.
No doubt, and as you mentioned, it's centrally located. It is in the central part of Pearl, the heart of Pearl, No offense to our friends at Walmart, but that's way on the east side of town. You have the folks here that all these houses that are right by this Kroger, and it really was a long time in coming, and it's a great expansion of services there, so that you don't have to necessarily go to that city next door, keep going down Highway 80 to go to Crossgates to go to that Kroger.
Yeah, I don't want to beef with Butch Lee, but I'm just saying, hey, I want to be able to get things in our city, and
Correct.
I think that's very important for our citizens. And there's going to be more things that we look at, and we're already observing. The things that you want to look at from an economic development standpoint is retail leakage. There might be something, and we're working with a company out of Birmingham that helps us with our economic development. There may be people going to other areas, and we identify the areas where people are leaving the city of Pearl, and then we go out and try to recruit those services, recruit those retail businesses to make sure that, hey, we're versatile in everything that we have. And again, I said it a while ago that we don't have to leave the city of Pearl for anything. We can get all of our needs right here.
Well, and with gas prices doing what they're doing, it's good that we can stay in the city of Pearl. We don't have to travel.
Sure.
Because it's expensive to go to that gas pump. Well, Mayor, it is great things happening here in the city. Not only we talked about crime stats, but with businesses, and it's just a fun time. And we look forward to the spring.
It is, and then we have several more businesses that are coming in, more of an industrial type businesses that are locating to our city from other areas, and Pearl's on the rise. And I think that from the standpoint when I first took office in 2017, I just really, in my heart, think that God's going to provide this renaissance period for us, and I think we're getting into it at this point. And I want to make sure everybody knows these good things don't happen. People have to go to work and do it, but the Lord's really taking care of us. Not only in businesses locating to the city, these crime stats. Also, I just want to say that financially, I don't know if, when we've discussed that, we go from a negative audit to a positive 6.2 million. I mean, just things just keep happening, and we're rolling in the right direction. I just want to make sure that our citizens know that all of our city employees and our department heads are going out there every day and doing everything that they possibly can do to make this city better.
Well, it's no secret because you can see it happening every single day. Mayor, we look forward to having you back again soon. Enjoy running the city.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have a great day.
All right. We will be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
WPBP and PMB TV would like to thank our latest sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is located at 403 Riverwind Drive. With over 32 different types of donuts, they can take care of your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can now choose from their menu of sandwiches, wraps, and muffins. And don't forget the drinks. Along with coffee, espressos, and lattes for your morning drive, they also have soft drinks, cold brew coffees, and smoothies. The Pearl Pirates run on Dunkin' Donuts.
All right, folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and it's now time for us to go under the dome over at the state capitol, and our two distinguished gentlemen here from the City of Pearl. We have Senator Dean Kirby, Representative Gene Newman, who are, some real movers and shakers over there, and man, you guys are just cooking over there, aren't you, Dean?
We are cooking. I mean, we're wide open. Of course, we hit the ground running, as we've said before. The first day we're taking up bills, we're moving, and of course we've been there. This week will be a month, right? So we're a third of the way through this session.
It's hard to believe that, isn't it?
It doesn't seem like it, but it seems like we've been there forever already.
Yeah, I slept all weekend trying to catch up.
Well, I tell you, one of the biggest things that you guys have been able to get out the door is this medical marijuana bill, and it looks as though you finally come up with a solution that was acceptable to both the House and the Senate, and what should be good for the governor.
I think so. We passed the bill, sent it to the House. They amended the bill for the better, I would say, and sent it back to us. And then we wanted another change or two, so we invited conference, and we went to conference, and the bill was filed actually the next day in conference, and then the next day we passed it on both sides and sent it to the governor, and he has 5 days to sign it, and that'll be up. I think we decided this Thursday.
And I think in reading some of the details within it, it is a true medical marijuana bill. This cannot be confused with recreational use.
Well, I'll speak and then you, or you can go
I
ahead.
think that's exactly right. You know, there was the governor was really concerned with the amount of ounces that was allowable. That was one of the amendments that we passed, was to drop it down to 3, and that's what was sent back to the Senate. One of the things that the Senate did, and was the municipalities had a real concern, and I think it was discovered by our mayor. He did a real good job of figuring that out, that they didn't have control of where specifically the grow places were. No, I don't know what the right word is yet for that, but the places where they're actually going to grow the marijuana indoors. So it would allow them to take a large space, and as an example, the space up here across from Miss Kelly's, the
that abandoned.
the abandoned, it used to be Fruhoff trailers a long time ago,
Okay.
but most people don't remember that. But anyway, that building is a very large building, would have probably been used for that if they could. But you know, you're taking that much sales tax area out of the space, because the only thing you're going to get out of those grow areas is the ad valorem. And so the mayor got with the Mississippi Municipal League, and that's one of the changes that the Senate made, or that was made in conference, that by taking it to conference, that they was able to fix that, so that the cities have the ability to place to place those where they need to place them, in order to make everybody happy about what's going on around in the neighborhood.
And it feels like it'll have pretty good oversight, because the Department of Health will be overseeing it now, and not the Agriculture Commissioner.
That's correct. Of course, the commissioner didn't want any part of it.
Right.
He says it wasn't growing of plants. It wasn't agriculture. I don't know about that, but I do know that he didn't want it. Department of Health, no one really wanted to oversee it, but the Department of Health is going to oversee it completely. So it will be well overseen. And I tell you, it is, as you said, true medical marijuana, in the sense that you can't just say, okay, I want a card, you know. It's not that way at all. I mean, the first thing you have to do is get 2 physicians to recommend it. They make the recommendation to the Board of Health. The Board of Health has a review board that sees if you really need it or not, and then they determine the exact amount, because it could be less than a 3. So it's not something you just say, okay, now we have recreational marijuana, because we do not, I can assure you. And those people that are growing it, I'm telling you, the oversight of that indoors, with has to meet all these requirements, has to have security, it has to. I mean, it's unbelievable the restrictions that we put on it. But again, people wanted medical marijuana, so what they all told us, and so that's exactly what they have.
Well, and I think the 2 things to really take key in: the 3 ounces are going to be allowed per month, up to 3 ounces, to an individual that has a card, that has a medical marijuana card prescribed by 2 doctors, as you said, as it's been approved. Number 2, very important, that now, yes, you're going to have a medical marijuana bill, but you'll be able to, because it's passed by the legislature in law, not constitution, that you will have the ability to go back and tweak things from time to time, maybe make it a little more flexible, maybe close it down a little bit more, but at least it is a living document now versus a set in stone.
It is, and I feel good about the bill. I'm not sure how everyone else feels, but I think if we're going to have it, that's about as good a bill as you can possibly have.
I think so. I think it's closest to actual medical that any state has. And I don't think there's any question about that. We've got a better bill than any other state out there. But we learned from their mistakes.
That's right.
And you know, I'm gonna say that Chairman Lee Yancey and Chairman Kevin Blackwell did a tremendous job. They deserve a lot of kudos. Both those guys lost a lot of sleep. They worked awful hard. They looked at everything you could look at, I think, and they had. I mean, you think about Blackwell had Lieutenant Governor Hoseman breathing down his neck all the time, and Yancey had Speaker Gunn breathing down his. Both of them had the governor on them all the time. I think Kristen Wyndham was from the governor's office. I think she was ready to beat both of them over the head sometimes. But yeah.
There were actually close to 50 drafts of that bill before we had the final bill, and without a doubt, it was the most transparent bill I've ever seen. Every time they'd make a change, they'd post it, so everyone that wanted to see it could see it. This is what we're going to do, and so that way, anyone that's not happy with it, I really didn't want medical marijuana, is kind of what I want to say. Either they didn't want it, or either they wanted recreational. Because as far as medical marijuana, I don't think you can get a better bill.
Well, let's certainly hope that you're going to make a whole lot of people happy with the infrastructure, the COVID money that's flowing around the state, because that's the next big order of business for you. Is you have so many, talk about transparent, you have so many projects that have been applied for and submitted, cities, counties that want the funds, that, man, it's going to be hard to really.
There's $8 billion in request over there right now. Over $8 billion for what, 1.8? 1.8 billion.
Yeah. So good luck, right? I mean, it's.
Well, what we've done in the Senate, and I'm sure they're doing the same in the House, is we've broken it down by category. In other words, water and sewer for the cities and counties, whether fire departments, Medicaid, whatever. We've broken it down by category. Now we have to go back and we figured out how much we want to do in each one. That'll change, I can assure you. But at least we were getting the blueprint together to start giving the money out. Now we've actually in the Senate given out some of it. We gave some to our National Guard already, and gosh, I can't even remember, about 3 or 4 different things. I think maybe we gave some. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking we gave some to the schools, but I'm not sure. So I'd have to look at the bill again to see. But yeah. The blueprint is there. We realize what people want, because and there's a difference between want and need, but we have a list of all the wants and needs, and now we got to go back and break it down by the needs is basically what it gets down to.
What do you think?
It's complicated.
It is. It's very complicated.
And I'm gonna give you some specific examples. Rankin County came to the House and the Senate with a very specific plan of what they wanted to do with the money they have. They've already put their money, the majority of the money that they've got, they've already put it toward this, and that's to solve. They don't have a water system. They don't provide anybody water, and they don't provide anybody sewer. So for them to be able to really use the money, they had to use it on drainage. And we have a real problem with drainage in Rankin County. In other words, you think about Richland Creek right here, or all of the creeks that we deal with. You think about all the flooding problems that we've had in Pearl. Well, what they're trying to do is solve all those problems. So they already had a plan in place working on that, but then they took this and they multiplied it and they started it. And they're using the money that they got from it, so that they already have a leg up on everybody else because of what they've done. The city of Pearl, the things that they're trying to do with they had already done the smoke test. They for the sewage and different things. So you've got cities like Pearl and Rankin County and that's prepared and ready to go with this, and then you've got other places that says, I want $2 billion. We're going to have $2 billion to fix it, but we don't know what we're going to spend the $2 billion on. Yeah. You have to have a real. You already have to have the engineers working and everybody doing stuff to be able to put something like this together.
And our cities and our counties have done a very good job of putting packages together to bring to us to show the exact cost of everything they want. Of course, Rankin County had already received over $30 million direct. And now they're asking for, I think, another 23 million, I believe it is, and hopefully we'll get that.
Well, a lot of it too is, like you say, there's some cities and counties that'll come just with their hand out and say, we need this. But then there's others, which I know in Rankin County, certainly the city of Pearl, where they're like, okay, let's split this. We're willing to put forward this amount of money towards it, almost like splitting it half and half and say, hey, if you guys will help us out, it'll offset some of the cost for us to replace pipelines within the city. So having skin in the game almost it makes it easier?
And they do. Well, Rankin and Pearl and Brandon and Flowood, Richland, Florence, everyone that wants anything, they've got skin in the game every time. So
unlike the city of Jackson, which probably just says, hey,
Well, that's you know,
we want $1 billion.
Yeah.
You know, they want $2 billion, but we don't know what we're going to spend it on.
Yeah.
They're going to spend it on studies.
we need new pipelines, but they're not prepared to figure out a plan to put those in, right?
Yeah, and it's sad when you see a school bus that has fallen into a sinkhole, and as Jackson did last week, I think, and then they had an 18-wheeler that just sunk. And I mean, they need a lot of work. They need a lot of work. There's no doubt about it, and it's the largest city in the state, and it's our capital city, and we need to try to help them. But they need to try to help themselves while we're doing it.
Well, that's the key, I think, help, right? We're not going to do it for you. We're not just going to give you a big check and let you go
No.
spend it. We will help you, but it's got to be a partnership.
I would hope that, and I think it probably will be an oversight committee as well on cities above a certain population,
Well,
because there'll be so much work to be done.
Well, it's the fun part of trying to figure out how to spend all that money. The hard part is figuring out a way to make it equal and make everybody happy that's turned
That's
in
right.
applications, right?
Yeah. You know, I had someone in the Senate say, "You guys are getting all the money in Rankin County." And I said, "Well, you know why?" And they said, "Yeah, because y'all are making it happen." I said, "No, not at all. We're giving it where we need it, first off, and it's where the people are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're giving it to the people is what we're doing. The Rankin County's growing. We're very proud of that.
Well, and good plans in place, right? I mean, it's
That's
well
it.
thought out. That's the other key that you mentioned.
Long-term planning. And we'd like to take all the credit, no doubt about it, but it was those that way back before us that have made the difference in Rankin County now.
Well, one of the things that I know you're really pushing for now that you guys are both working on is an equal pay bill here in the legislative process. Where do we stand on that?
Well, the House passed a version last Thursday, and when it first came out, and for a while I was adamantly opposed to it because it would allow anyone to, in other words, who may or may not have been harmed, to sue in any county. So I would have my employers here in Rankin County getting sued over in Hinds County with those judges over there, and I was adamantly opposed to that. Well, they took that out.
And I must say, they took that out in the House because of our representative. He's the one that raised sand about that until they changed it.
Well, they took that out, and the bill that came out, I'm still of the opinion that we have it in federal law that does a lot more. I'm not sure why we need the state law, but we're the only state that doesn't have it. So in the end, because they took it out, I went along with it and I voted for it. So and the chairman, she made a statement that said, you know, can you go home and look at your wife, your daughter, your granddaughter, and say you don't deserve equal pay when you're doing the same job? So, you know, and she's right. So that part of it, you know, if that's an issue, then it needed solving. So we voted for it, and we've sent it to the Senate. I think the Senate has a bill too. I know that this was a big issue for Attorney General Lynn Fitch, and we didn't take her bill. We did the bill that the chairman had, but it solves. I think it solves the issue nicely.
Certainly something that's probably going to get done this session.
Oh, yes. I have no doubt there will be a bill that passes.
There is another one that kind of is rearing its head, that it is a national issue that we are addressing here in Mississippi now too. I see our Department of Education holding hearings on it, and that is the critical race theory.
Yes.
And being able to, you know, that curriculum in our classrooms.
I don't know if you guys have passed a bill, but we did. Senator McClendon from DeSoto County was actually the author of the bill. And nowhere in the bill does it say critical race theory. Nowhere in it. All our bill says is, in our schools and universities, K through 12 and universities, and junior colleges, of course, all of education, you cannot teach superiority. You cannot teach that one race is better than the other. You can't teach hatred. That's No one's superior or inferior, and you can't teach hate. That's all it says. If you want to call it critical race theory, you can. But we had problems with it. We actually had the Black Caucus walk out right before the vote was made. They didn't like it, and yet to me, 50 years ago, that would have been an equal rights bill, or civil rights, equal rights bill. But today, for some reason, they don't think that, I guess they think, I don't know what they think, but I think it was a very good bill. And the governor has made a statement. He thinks it's a very good bill. I don't know why anyone would want to teach hatred in schools.
It just seems like it is.
Well, that's what critical race theory is teaching hatred. Yeah. I mean, there's no other way to frame that. And that's what you're doing, and that's what this bill stops. I think the Senate addressed it very nicely. I think I would think that we would take it up and pass it whenever it comes over. But because it's definitely, we don't want hatred, superiority or inferiority taught in our schools, any of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like come full circle. You know, back in the whatever they were teaching, I can't speak to that. I'm not old enough. You know, in the 50s and in the 60s, what was being taught in schools is they want to come full circle now and be able to say how awful, you know, a lot of Mississippians were back in the past, and teaching almost a hatred, right? That's almost what they're doing nationally.
I would hope that our state's beyond that.
I would hope that our state's beyond that. I recognize at times that we're not, regardless of, you know, there's bad people out there on both sides. We don't want to hide our history. We don't want to not teach our history. We did, as a state, we did some bad things, you know, at one point in time. As a nation, we did some bad things at one point in time. But we know, hopefully, the majority of that's been solved. And as we go forward, that we work together and do better for all of us. You know, that's the objective. But going back and teaching hate is going back to the 50s. You know, that's what they were doing in some ways back then. And we don't need to go back to that on either side of any race. So, you know, we need to be recognized that we're all equal, and that we should strive to be equal, you know, in the eyes of the Lord all the time.
Seems like those last two topics we talked about go together. Equal pay for equal work, right? That's what we're trying to pass and do. Same thing with the bill that you all are talking about, to make sure that equality is taught, you know, in schools.
That's right.
in all levels of education, right?
That's it.
Well, it is going to be a fight to the finish here to the legislative session. You said that we're coming upon probably one of the biggest milestones of the session so far, and that's deadline day for legislation.
Tomorrow is deadline day, and any bill that was introduced in the House has to be passed out of committee tomorrow and on the calendar the next day. Oh, no, wait a minute.
House or Senate. It has to,
if
it was introduced, and it has to have made it through the committee process by tomorrow.
That's right.
Wednesday we'll both be on bills, on general bills. Now that's not revenue bills, that's right. General bills. But we'll be wide open on bills come Wednesday.
And we'll still have local and private bills, and we'll still have rules and those type things.
But the big things that people are trying to get accomplished, the big general bills that the public, that, you know, a lot of them are just entered in for show. You know, if they don't make it out of the committee process, then okay, we're done until next year.
That's right. That's right. And of course, as the representative said earlier, just because it died in committee don't mean it's dead. Because if there's another bill that has that code section, you can do an amendment, and it's right back, here we go again. So it's not dead, and as you said, Gene,
it's dead, but it's not dead, and it's not dead.
That's
it
correct.
Ain't dead until we go to sine die, and even then, there's always next year.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that's very weird is you got to watch to the end of the session. Not that you guys would ever been a part of this, but things slip their way into the back ends of bills sometimes.
In conference is where that usually happens. Yes.
But it's got to be germane. It's got when we say germane, it's got to be. In other words, you have to have that code section.
That's right.
So if that code section's not kept alive somewhere, then it is at that point dead for that session.
And then you look ahead towards 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, you guys are once again representing us very, very well, not
Thank
only
you.
with conservative leadership, but just good common sense.
Thank you. And one other thing, if I may mention, is the reapportionment or redistricting.
Oh, I nearly forgot. This has been your baby since.
Well, I didn't volunteer for that.
No, you
baby.
did not volunteer.
And it is a baby, I'm telling you. That particular bill, well, the House has theirs and we have ours. We've already passed the congressional. It's already been signed, so hopefully that'll be okay. But the House and Senate bills, I mean, they have 122 members, and you got to remember there were over 65,000 people that the Delta lost in population, and that bleeds over. So every Senate district's going to change. Now, ours in Rankin County, we've grown so much, so ours will actually shrink. But that's not true in some of the others. I mean,
You'll have less land mass, but you'll have
I'll have as
around
many
the same amount of people. Yeah.
That's right. But we've grown, so in the next 10 years, when we're required to do it again, you'll see us probably even in area shrink again, which is a wonderful thing for Rankin County. Unfortunately, that's not true in most of the rest of the state. Just DeSoto, Rankin, as far as the full counties, DeSoto, Rankin, and Harrison are the big gainers. And
Will either one of you lose any geographical parts of Pearl?
no,
I
won't.
probably will.
You will shrink down and lose some
Yes.
geography to Pearl.
Yes.
And which way will that shift?
We don't know yet because I mean they haven't. We haven't seen a drawing yet of what that's like, and we probably won't see it till toward the end of the session.
Okay.
I suspect, but I don't know that I might lose some of the parts south and south of Interstate 20, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
A little bit maybe south and west of Interstate 20 to make sense.
I've already lost west, southwest about 20. That's already pulled. A Jackson district's already pulled some of that out. So, and that's the problem. The Jackson districts have shrunk so much so they, that's what we have to worry about. It's them coming across the river and moving into taking up space over here. But you also have. I'm over by about 2,000, almost 3,000 people. Yancey's over by almost 3,000 people. Shanks is over by almost right at 4,000 people. So, that's almost another district by itself. And Brent Powell's over like 3,000. So, that we expect to have another district in Rankin County, that we do expect to have, maybe more than one. So, we'll see.
Well, Senator Harkins and I both will have to shrink in area, not in population, but in the area.
Sure.
Well, we will shrink in population, but there's a maximum and a minimum that people that you can have in your district. And, the ideal Senate district, I think 55,600, I think. And Josh and I both we'll have more than that going in, so we know that next time, if we keep growing, which Pearl and Brandon especially, or well, all of Rankin County is growing, I'll have about 3/4 of the city of Brandon and all of Pearl, I think, in the new district. And I'm not sure about Richland yet.
And you're going to probably have a new Senate district that's majority Rankin County, right?
We will. After Josh and I both get our maximum that we can have, there's still close to 48,000 people left over in Rankin County.
Wow.
Well, when you're going to have 55 in a district and 40 of them are in Rankin,
Yeah.
there's a good chance that person will be from Rankin County. I'm not sure yet where we will pick up, whether it be Smith, Simpson, or Scott County, but we'll try to, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it probably, because to be fair, they've got to pick up 7,000 people in another county somewhere. Well, really only have to pick up 5,000 to get to the minimum, and I don't think it would be Simpson or Scott. It may be Smith. I'm not sure yet. It's a big puzzle to put together, and if you want to come up there and do it, I'll surely let you do it.
But here's the important thing you got to remember about the Senate. It all starts in Rankin County and works out because he's the chairman. His district's
Well,
gonna
I'm gonna bring some of Jack's Lego pieces, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna start moving those Legos up in your office. How's that?
I've met with I think 46 of the 51 other senators, and they've all given me their wish list.
Yeah.
You start putting it together, and you, of course, once a minority district, always a minority district, according to federal law. The federal government does not want you going across the river. They do not want you splitting precincts. They do not, all these, if you to have a map that will be approved, and it does have to be approved, you've got all these federal guidelines to go by. So it's really difficult to do. If I could split precincts, go across the river, do whatever in other precincts, it would be much easier. But anyway, I've got I had the Christmas wish list, and now it's after Christmas, so it's just the wish list, and it's going to be very difficult. I think when we get through the majority, by far, I think all but about 5 will be very happy. There'll be 5 that. Of those 5, I'd say 2 of them are a little angry because we took in an area that they didn't want. Of course, we didn't have any choice because their area shrunk.
I mean, population is population. You can't.
That's right. There's nothing to do about it. But overall, it's going to all come together. This week, I hope to finish meeting with all the other senators, and then I'll go over to Pierre and we'll sit down with a map and we'll put all the wish lists up for everyone, and we'll see what overlaps what and start moving around and getting it right.
Well, anytime you want, we'll bring our camera over. We'll do time lapse. We'll record it so that you can see how it ebbs and flows and how it's moved. So, but we look forward to seeing the final product.
Rankin County will be okay.
That's all that matters. For us, that's all that matters. Everybody else, good luck to you. We wish you the best. That's
wish you the best.
Well, gentlemen, keep it up. You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
We look forward as we close in on the end of the session.
Thank you for having us. We always enjoy being here.
Well, you guys, don't let them drive you too crazy over there.
Well, it'll slow down now for a little while because we're going to be on the floor starting Wednesday and be voting on bills, so you can actually catch your breath.
Okay. Very good. Well, we'll see. You guys can feel free out there. Go by and see them at the Capitol. Go in and sit in on the sessions there as they pass legislation. It's a sausage-making process. It may be interesting to some people out there.
Yeah, and of course, I'm not sure about the House. I think you guys have cameras in most of your meeting rooms, but we have them in, I think, all of our meeting rooms now. On YouTube TV, you can watch every committee meeting you want to watch.
And our floor, both of our floors, over the action starting on Wednesday, you can watch. Both chambers will have the debates going wide open on the floors, and you see the votes, and you see it real time right there. And I encourage you, it's your Capitol. Come up if you have time. Come up to the Capitol, sit in the galley, and watch it. It's a spectator sport.
It is, and sometimes if you have a little trouble sleeping, it's good for that too. So, either way, thank you, gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, y'all. We appreciate it very much.
We will be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
I'm Officer Kyle Carmerdale.
And I'm Officer Alfred Jenkins, School Resource Officer with the Pearl Police Department, and our job is to protect students.
Here in Pearl, we have zero tolerance for drivers that break school bus laws. There are 4 things to know. Stop at least 10 feet from the bus when it is loading or unloading. Don't move until kids have crossed the street to or from the bus. The flashing red lights are no longer activated. The stop sign on the side of the bus is retracted.
When we catch you, you get a ticket up to $750, up to a year in jail, or both.
Please pay attention so every student can get to school and home safely.
Well, this segment is probably one of my favorites that we've had in quite some time, as we're going to tell you about a young lady. Her name is Noli Jones. She is a 3rd grader from Northside Elementary. And this past week, she was named the Champion Ambassador for Mississippi Children's Hospital through the Children's Miracle Network. Now, little Noli, if you can believe this, has had, by the looks of her, you'd never know that she had this problem. She, at 3 months old, had 2 holes discovered in her heart that were surgically repaired over at Mississippi Children's Hospital. She is a walking miracle. She is as healthy as any other 3rd grader now, and as you can see, what a smile that she has. She was selected as the champion ambassador for the hospital. Now, what does that mean? She's going to be part of the Children's Miracle Network telethon representing our hospital here in Mississippi for children. She will also do all kinds of other media, magazines, print ads, television ads, newspaper ads to help raise awareness for the hospital and raise funds for the hospital. They had a great event announcing her champion ambassadorship over at the Mississippi Children's Museum recently, and our mayor, Jake Windham, had a chance to be there and made some remarks, as well as Chelsea Bates, that is Noli's mom, and here's a little bit about what they had to say.
We are really blessed to have the Children's Hospital. Noli, if it wasn't for us coming that day, I don't think she wouldn't still be alive. Dr. Salazar, I was trying to remember, because like I said, I was in nursing school then. I was trying to remember all the doctors. I remember everything was like really, everyone was like family to us. We spent a lot of time there. At that time, we lived 2 hours away. So, driving back and forth, that was a lot. And I remember him telling me, like, don't worry, her heart is gonna be, it's gonna be beautiful. And she's gonna be able to live like a normal life. And it's really a blessing. And we're happy and we're blessed to be a part of, the Children's Hospital. We really appreciate it.
Just a great honor, and we look forward to Noli helping raise money and awareness for the Children's Hospital and really representing the city of Pearl very, very well. We'll be right back with more This Week in Pearl.
Hello, I'm Mayor Windham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Well, if you've ever wanted to work here for the city of Pearl and become a 911 dispatcher, now is your chance. We have a couple of openings over at the police department that they are advertising for right now. To find out more information, you can go to cityofpearl.com/work/jobs or swing by the police department and pick up an application. You can find out more by calling 601-939-7000. There are very few jobs out there that are as rewarding as being a 911 dispatcher, but it is also very, very stressful, and it's not cut out for everybody. So we encourage you, if you're interested, either make that phone call or stop by and pick up an application, because that is truly a lifeline of a job for people as they call 911. Hey, you can stay connected for city news all the time, including when we have job openings. Simply on your phone, you can text the word Pearl to 91896. That's the word Pearl to 91896 and get text alerts sent right to your phone. You can follow us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name @PearlGovernment. And cityofpearl.com, our website, always up and running for you. There you can find out answers to your frequently asked questions, find numbers to all of our city departments to get your questions answered. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of This Week in Pearl. We certainly hope you enjoyed it. You know, we are a great place to live, work, and play, which makes us the jewel of the Crossroads.